Hi everyone, today I'm bringing you 3 dupes for 3 of my favourite high-end products, one of which is a relatively new release, and I have a way of you achieving exactly the same look for a fraction of the cost. Believe me, you are going to want to stick around to the end of this video. But let's get straight into it. If you're new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new videos here on YouTube every single week. I'm also on Instagram if you fancy following me across over there as well. And I'd really appreciate it if by the end of this video you've liked what you've watched. You consider clicking on that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Okay, so everybody has a different idea of what a dupe should be. Some people think it should be the exact same color, some consistency, some texture, some quality, some ingredients. I think it should be an amalgamation of all 4 of those things. Did I say 4 or 5? Anyway, it should be an amalgamation of all of those qualities, but you are never going to get an exact duplication of a high-end product. For a start, they'd probably take them to court and they would win hands down if it was exactly the same. So I'm gonna get as close to it, but during this video, I will tell you all the things that are the same about the product, but also the differences as well, so you have that exact comparison. Let's jump straight into the first dupe, which I have on my nails. Now, in studio lighting, you can clearly see the difference between these 2 nail polishes. However, in natural lighting, not so much, which is why I decided to include it in this video. Both of these are so similar in so many different ways, and I'll go into that in just a second. This is a dupe for the Chanel nail polish in the iconic shade 18 Rouge Noir. This is absolute perfection. I bought this before Christmas. I have loved it. It's just divine. However, after Christmas, I bumped into this little beauty. This is from Revlon and it's the Ultra HD Snap. And it's in the shade So Shady, which is 024. Side by side in the jar, these look completely different. On the nails in natural lighting, even side by side, I cannot tell the difference. Now, the one thing that this doesn't have, that this has, and I want to point that out immediately, which is why you can tell the difference in studio lighting and you can't tell the difference in other lighting, is that the Chanel tends to have a color shifting technology in there. In some lights, it is black as black, and in other lights, it's a really deep, rich burgundy. This is a really rich, deep burgundy, which is beautiful, but it doesn't have that color shifting technology. So this stays the same all the time, whereas this one changes slightly, which is why in some lights they don't look the same, but in other lights they definitely do. So the rich, deep burgundy shade is not the only similarity that these 2 possess. They are both really long lasting on the nails. They last forever. Both really easy to apply to the nails. If I'm being completely honest, I find the Revlon slightly easier because the brush on the Chanel is really small. Again, both of these are quick drying formulas. They are super pigmented. 2 coats of this, out of the door. They also both have that super shiny finish to the surface of the nail, which I think is incredibly classy. It's that just manicured, I've just spent a fortune on my nails sort of look, and you really haven't if you go for this one. So although these aren't truly identical, I think they are close enough. If you love the fact that this is a color shifter, that it's black in certain lights and burgundy in others, you are not going to get that from this one. But if you love that rich, deep burgundy and all the other traits that this one has, you're gonna love this, and I definitely give it a go. The next dupe is actually for a product that I featured in my Best of Skincare 2021 video. In my opinion, this is one of the best moisturizers that's out on the market. It's from Drunk Elephant and it's the F Balm. Now, I love this for a multitude of reasons, of which I'll go into in a second. But during my Best of Skincare 2021 video, I featured numerous high-end and luxury skincare items and was asked to come up with dupes for pretty much all of them. I really do feel I've come up with one for this. So the reason I love this moisturizer so much is because it's universal. You can use it if you have dry skin because it's nourishing enough, but you can also use it if you've got oily skin because it's not overly nourishing, but it will pack your skin full of vital hydration. It will plump whilst being super lightweight on the skin. So the dupe I've come up with is actually slightly more lightweight than this one, but you can make it exact by just doing a little bit of a tweak at home, which will cost practically nothing. This is from the ENQUIRIES and it's the Omega Water Cream. Absolutely stunning, very similar consistencies. This one is slightly looser than the Drunk Elephant one, but it will do the same job with regards to hydration. So before I go into ingredients, let me show you these on the back of my hand. This one is the Drunk Elephant, which is slightly thicker in consistency, and this one is the ENQUIRIES, which is slightly lighter. Now, let me go into ingredients for everybody because the similarities are immense. The main difference between the water cream and the F-Balm is that the F-Balm has those vitamin F microbeads in the formula, which the water cream doesn't have. That's no real big issue for me, but if you are wanting that vitamin F injection into the skin, you're not going to get it from the water cream. The other difference is that the F-Balm does contain squalane, jojoba oil, and linseed oil, which makes it slightly more nourishing and a slightly heavier consistency than the water cream. If you are wanting that extra boost of nourishment, there is nothing stopping you from adding a little bit of jojoba oil or a little bit of squalane to the mix before you apply this to your skin to get exactly the same results as this little beauty. So let's talk similarities because that is extremely important in a dupes video. Both of these contain lots of fatty acids, lipids and ceramides, which are key to a healthy skin barrier. They also contain beautiful humectants like glycerin to pump the skin full of hydration. They both contain niacinamide, which is also amazing for the skin barrier and also that melanin suppressor, so it will help even out your skin tone beautifully. They're both unfragranced. They haven't got any fragrance or essential oils in either of the formulas. They are a similar consistency, but like I said, the F-Balm is slightly heavier. They are both super hydrating on the skin. They both absorb into the skin really quickly. And they both feel incredibly lightweight. Like I said, this one is slightly more so than the F-Balm, but you can counteract that if you want to add a little bit of oil into the mix. So both of these are beautiful formulas. Yes, the packaging is completely different, but at the end of the day, you're paying 10 times more, probably more actually, for the Drunk Elephant than you are for the ENQUIRIES. So yeah, you do the maths. So let's move on to the final dupe in this video. This is the one you've all been waiting for. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I'm on the edge of my seat. I am so excited to bring you this dupe because it's practically identical. Apart from a few ingredients which you're going to get with any dupe, this looks the same on the skin. In fact, I have this on this half of my face and I have the dupe on this half of my face, and have you noticed? No. Why? Because it's identical. It really looks the same. So the dupe is from Max Factor and it's the Miracle Pure Skin Improving Foundation. I actually tried this on during a First Impressions drugstore try-on video not so long ago, and whilst I was applying this on camera, I was thinking this is very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, which I think I'd done a review on a couple of days prior to filming that particular video. So since then, I have put this through its paces and worn it side by side just to check out the wearability, to see what the differences and the similarities were. They're practically the same foundation. Again, apart from a couple of ingredients. So when I did my drugstore try-on video, this wasn't available to buy yet in the US. It now is on Look Fantastic, which is why I thought this was the perfect time to bring you this dupes video, because you can all get your hands on it now. So, similarities and differences. Both of these are alcohol-free, but they do both contain essential oils. The only difference in the fragrance department is that the Max Factor not only contains essential oils, but it also contains a fragrance as well, which is really quite punchy. These are both skincare-based formulas, so they feel incredibly lightweight, but also incredibly hydrating on the skin. They both give sheer buildable coverage, which is extremely buildable and very wearable, and they have the same radiant finish. The major difference for me is that the Max Factor has an SPF of 30 in there with a PA rating of +++. That's going to be a major benefit for some, for me, not so much. It really aggravates me when foundation formulas have SPF ingredients in there. For the most part, you're not getting the SPF that's advertised on the bottle because you're not applying enough of the foundation to get any sort of protection, but also a lot of people are sensitive to certain SPF ingredients, and if you are one of those people, I will list the ingredients at the bottom of the screen for you now. The other difference is the shade range, and Max Factor really do need to improve on their shade range. The Charlotte Tilbury foundation has 30 shades, and that shade range is really diverse, whereas the Max Factor shade range only has 20 shades available. And if you want to go in store to purchase this, not all 20 shades are available, so it is a limited range. I will also say that even when you're looking at the full 20 shades, they all look very, very similar, so Max Factor do have to improve on the diversity of their shade range. Another thing about shade that I want to mention, this foundation is the Charlotte Tilbury and this one is the Max Factor. You will notice that the Max Factor is a lot fairer than the Charlotte Tilbury. But these are the two shades that I have on my skin now, and the reason I can get away with it is because the Max Factor one oxidizes when it dries down, whereas I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury one stays true to shade, which is a bonus for the Charlotte Tilbury, not so much for the Max Factor, but if you know that before you buy, you should be able to select a shade that will work for you. You can also see by the pumps on the back of my hand the two different consistencies. So the Charlotte Tilbury is a lot runnier than the Max Factor formula, but once the Max Factor formula hits the skin, it really does loosen off and work very, very similarly to the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. So it spreads exactly the same, it sinks into the skin really well. It's practically the same. So if you have fair skin like me, let me show you the 4 shades that I picked up in the Max Factor compared to the shade that works for me in the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. So I've really let these soak into the skin and I've left these 10 minutes so they've already oxidized and turned the shade that they will remain for the rest of the day, just so that you can really see what shade you're actually buying. So the first shade that you can see is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, and then you've got the shade that I'm actually wearing on my skin now, which is 40 Light Ivory, and then you've got 45 Warm Almond, 50 Natural Rose, and 55 which is Beige. So I hope that's helped you out shade-wise. Both of these foundations look identical once they're on the skin. If somebody else had done my makeup this morning and not told me which foundation was which, I would not know because they look the same. But I'm not that bougie. I've done my own makeup this morning, so I can tell you that this side of my face has the Charlotte Tilbury on and this side of my face has the Max Factor, and they've both worn incredibly well. They've got the same level of radiance to them. They have the same long wear capability. I've had these on now for 9 hours. Yes, 9 hours. I've been sat in this chair for an incredibly long amount of time and now I'm hungry and want to go. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you love the Charlotte Tilbury foundation, or if you really wanted to try it but it was just out of your reach price-wise, because it is £34 at the end of the day, I would definitely say have a little look at this one. £13.99 in the UK, and yeah, once they're on the skin, you wouldn't know. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.